Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Paula and today I want to take you through something that marks a real turning point in the story of crypto, the story of XRP, and honestly, the story of how everyday people like you and me will navigate this next chapter. Because something significant has just happened in the United States. Not loud or dramatic, but something foundational, something that will shape the future of crypto regulation, institutional adoption, and the way digital assets integrate with real financial systems. For the first time in US history, the United States have approved a federally regulated spot crypto exchange. A genuine, compliant, regulated spot exchange operating under US law. And here's what makes this moment so important. Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, sits on its board. Ripple invested in the company, and the regulator behind it, the CFTC, is openly treating XRP as a commodity inside this new market structure. If you've been with me over the past few weeks, you'll know we've been paying close attention to the CFTC. This moment is exactly why. Because while the SEC has been defining crypto through enforcement and confusion, the CFTC has been quietly building the next chapter. One based on clarity, structure, and integration instead of conflict. Bitnomial, the exchange they approved, is the first building block of that structure. And XRP isn't standing outside of it. It's already woven into the design. But the deeper story, the part that matters most, is quietly happening beneath the surface. And it's this. XRP's liquid supply is shrinking. Ripple has been buying back XRP through OTC deals. Large custodial wallets, typically linked to institutional holders, are growing. More XRP is leaving exchanges than entering them. And less supply on exchanges means the market becomes far more sensitive to changes in demand. This isn't retail behaviour. It isn't hype-driven activity. It's strategic accumulation, the kind institutions engage in long before the public understands what's happening. We saw the exact same pattern before Bitcoin's ETF era. Supply dried up, custodial holdings increased, and once the ETFs launched, the market didn't drift upwards. It surged. Now, XRP doesn't have a spot ETF yet, but institutions never wait for a final announcement. They position themselves before the infrastructure arrives. And when you pair this supply tightening with clearer regulatory treatment, the bigger picture becomes even more compelling. But there is another piece. And this one is crucial for understanding where the entire XRP ecosystem may be heading. Evernorth, a company connected to XRPN, the XRP Ledger network expansion, is preparing to go through a public SPAC. And I want to be very clear about what this means and what it doesn't. A SPAC, a special purpose acquisition company, is often called a shortcut to going public. But realistically, it's a bridge. A bridge between private innovation and public markets. A bridge between new technology and traditional finance. A bridge that allows a younger company to step into a world with higher expectations, stronger governance, and far greater access to capital. Instead of spending years navigating the traditional IPO route, the filings, audits, roadshows, approvals, a SPAC allows a private company to merge into an already listed public entity. That part is factual. That's simply how SPACs work. But here's the part I want to balance properly. A SPAC doesn't guarantee institutional adoption. It doesn't automatically bring demand. It doesn't promise success. But what it does do is open the door. It signals that a company connected to XRPN is prepared to operate under the scrutiny of public markets, with transparency, reporting, compliance, and accountability built into its operations. It forces better governance. It forces clearer financial reporting. It brings visibility that simply didn't exist in the private crypto world. It doesn't promise a specific outcome, but it does signal that everything's maturing. A shift from crypto speculation to real infrastructure. A move from niche to mainstream. And when you place that alongside Ripple's involvement in the first US regulated spot exchange, XRP being treated as a commodity, exchange supply tightening, institutional wallets accumulating, and regulatory clarity slowly forming. You start to see an ecosystem that's reorganizing itself around long-term legitimacy. But that leads to the question that everyone asks. If all of this is so important, why isn't the price reacting? And the answer is simple but incredibly important. Price doesn't move because the news is big. Price moves because liquidity is positioned to react. We're in a moment where the news is foundational, but the market is cautious. Institutions accumulate quietly. Structural changes always appear long before the chart reflects them. And the market doesn't price in headlines. It prices in impact. Impact takes time. This part of the cycle is always quiet, always frustrating, always slow. But it's also the part where informed traders position themselves while everyone else waits for a candle to confirm what was already clear beneath the surface. Price is not the leading indicator, structure is. And right now, structure is shifting around XRP more profoundly than at any point in its history. This is why having a strategy matters so much. Because you don't make money chasing news. You make money understanding the groundwork and acting on it before it becomes obvious. Now, I want to be absolutely clear. Nothing I share is ever financial advice. I'm not here to tell you what to buy, sell, or hold. But what I can do is share the exact strategy that I personally use to trade and to make money both in the bull market and the bear markets. And that's why we've created the Crypto Liftoff course. It's not a shortcut. It's not a guarantee. It's simply the framework that changed the way I trade. The system that helped me remove emotion, manage risk properly, and stay consistent even when the market feels uncertain. The Crypto Liftoff course shows you how I approach entries, exits, volatility, and structure. And it's completely free. The link is in the description. But strategy is only half the equation. The other half is where you execute it. This is why I use Blowfin. Because once you fully understand how to trade, the last thing you want is an exchange that slows you down, slips your orders, or collapses when volatility picks up. Blowfin has been the opposite of that experience for me. It's fast, clean, reliable, and built for the kind of trading environment that's coming as regulation tightens and markets mature. The liquidity runs deep. The execution is smooth. The platform is stable, even during the moments where other exchanges struggle. And the reason why I recommend that you use my link specifically is simple. Blowfin have given my community exclusive bonuses and benefits you don't get by signing up directly on the website. It doesn't cost you anything, but it gives you more, and it genuinely supports this channel so I can keep producing content like this without putting anything behind a paywall. It helps you, and it helps me to continue helping you. When your strategy is solid and your platform is stable, that's when things finally start to click. So when we zoom out and we look at the full landscape, Ripple is embedded inside the first US regulated spot exchange. XRP is being recognised as a commodity. Liquid supply is shrinking. XRPN is expanding. Evernorth is preparing to step into public markets. And the US regulatory environment is shifting towards clarity instead of conflict. This isn't the end of the XRP story. This is the beginning of a chapter we've always been waiting for. One built on structure, utility, legitimacy, and long-term alignment. You don't need to predict every candle. You don't need to time every move. You just need awareness, preparation, and a strategy that keeps you grounded while everything else evolves. Because the people who succeed in markets aren't the lucky ones. They're the ones who recognise when the tide is turning and position themselves before the wave arrives. If you found value in this breakdown, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Especially now when the landscape is changing this quickly. Drop me a comment below and let me know your thoughts on where XRP is heading next. I always read them, and this community has some of the sharpest minds in this space. And remember, if you want to learn the strategy I personally use, the Liftoff course link is in the description, along with the link for Blowfin for your community bonuses. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel. And as always, I'll see you on the next one.